One of the most important resources for the survival of living things is need for the drinking water. Therefore, the value of our ancestors of drinking water, which is the source of life, is very high. In the past, our forefathers held a high regard for the water needed for living things, saying a drop of water is a grain of gold. Wherever there is drinking water, there is life. The most important way to get the most of our life's water is Kyariz. From time immemorial, our forefathers have discovered and extracted groundwater, freshwater reserves and used them for drinking water and other necessities of life. Finding these waters and bringing them to the surface has been one of the most challenging tasks of hydrogeology. Those who did such things were called Kyariz, as our forefathers used to say. Son benefits from his father's craft. The profession has been passed down mainly from father to son, and in rare cases from masters to disciples, because the right respect given to water. Although they have not been able to find a deep water reservoir, they have been able to choose a safe way to extract water based on the geological features of the Earth's surface, even though their tutors have not been able to do so. Thousands of years have passed since the Turkmen people began digging ditches and irrigating their fields. Jeytun culture can be considered the source of Turkmen agriculture. Historical sources testify to the emergence of agricultural culture in Ceyhun and the use of waterways. The Kyariz is an underground adequate and called groundwater and discharges it to the surface. They consist of water wells and underground streams and unite them. When we refer the historical sources collected by scholars and historians, we can find information about the widespread use of waterways in Jeytun. Our coordinator is the director of Ministry of Culture of Turkmenistan. We continue the interesting and influential stories by Agamrat Baltayev. Thanks to the efforts of the same president, every day is blessed with festive events. In our dear motherland, labor victories are being achieved that will last for centuries. We are on the verge of celebrating the 26th anniversary of awarding the status of permanent neutrality law to Turkmenistan by the General Assembly of the United Nations, one of the most important holidays of our time. Big celebrations are taking place in our country on the occasion of this wedding. At the same time, we, our glorious forefathers, are given ample opportunities to study the wonderful national heritage, national wealth, and scientific dissemination that our glorious ancestors have contributed to the development of the world, to the development of the whole human consciousness. Of course, today we are referring to the books of our esteemed president in the study of our national cultural heritage. In his book, Turkmenistan, Heart of the Great Silk Road, our esteemed president gives valuable information about the establishment of the Kyariz in different parts of the country. In the books first and second of the book, Turkmenistan, Heart of the Great Silk Road, our esteemed president provides valuable information about the sewage system, one of the oldest water bodies in the country. In our book, Turkmenistan, Heart of the Great Silk Road, our esteemed president gives valuable information about the fact that Parazdepe monument is a city inhabited by ancient Kyariz, and at the same time, there are several sewage systems around Parazdepe. As noted by our esteemed president, the Parazdepe monument was founded in the 3rd millennium BC. The Kyariz has been widely used in the area since then. The very rich composition of the sewage system is widely used not only as potable water but also in agriculture. Of course, the taste of such fresh water products is also different. Its impact on human health is also different. Therefore, when we talk about the Kyariz system, we prefer to start with the information given in the books that our sim president gives us in the first place. Our sim president provides extensive information about the role of the sewage system in the life of Turkmen people. Archaeological evidence has also found that the sewage system in the life of Turkmen people. Archaeological evidence has also been found that the sewage system was widely used in the 3rd and 4th centuries BC in the territory of Margiana. Of all the waters, the most important is the sewage system. The various salts contained in tap water, the minerals that are good for human health, are of particular importance in protecting the health of a person directly and protecting and strengthening his body.
Onun tüzümündeki adam sağlığına faydalı minerallar günden adamın sağlığını korumakta, onun bedenini berkitmekte ayrıca ehemmiyetidir.
Turkmen scientists are also working on curriculum studies. In particular, the scientific community of our country has begun to study the Kyariz around Paravdepe. In fact, Paravdepe has not only retained its past history but also provided us with a wealth of information on how to use water efficiently, especially digging sewers and extracting sewage from the ground. Today, we have learned a few rich experiences of using these Kyariz in our country. At the same time, we have collected information about the sources of this sewage. At present, according to scientifically confirmed data, 3 types of Kyariz reservoirs have been discovered in our country. One of them is called flood waters. During the spring months, when the flood waters receded, the inhabitants of the foothills dug into the water that had accumulated in the ravines and certain mountains, digging the same ditch and hanging a special ditch, and used the water from that ditch as a farmland or potable water. This is called flood water drainage. Flood waters are widespread in our country. It was especially popular in the foothills of the Kopetdag. Another unique type of sewerage is the fact that well-known sewers, especially Kyariz, accumulate the bottom of the riverbed, forming underground lakes and drainage carried from Scotland. This is exactly what happened in the village of Durun in Bahar Denitrap. The water that seeped into the bottom of the Arvad River, which flowed at the foot of the village of Durun from the underground lake, and which also led to the formation of several canals in Scotland. Among those Kyariz are those who still work today. Absorbed water accumulates in the underground lakes. The Kyariz, based on their national experience, found the location of that lake. On the basis of this, the water in that lake was drained from it so that it could serve the people as drinking water for many years to come. Of course, sewage treatment is complicated, so sewage is considered to be one of the oldest hydroelectric facilities in the world.
Bir neçe Kyarizlerin dönemine esas bolupdyr. Şu Kyarizlerin arasında häzirki döwürde işleýänler bar. Yer esingen su, yer asty dören köle jemlenýär. Kyarizgenler özüniň milli tejribelerini dayanyp, şol köleň emele gelen yerini tapypdyrlar. Şoň esasynda da şol köllek suwy uzak ýylyň dowamyna halka bir agy suw bolup hyzmat eder ýaly şondan Kyariz çekipdirler.
That is, the experiences of the first Kyariz have arisen in our land. Based on this, a number of ancient rich experiences have survived to the present day. Another distinctive feature of the origin of Kyariz and underground lakes is their associated lake concentration.
Kyariz suwlarynyň yer asty kölleriň döreşiniň ýene-de bir aýratyn tapawutlanýan görnüşleriniň bir olaram mineral çeşmeleriň jemlenýän köli bilen baglydyr. Häzirki wagtda ýurdumyzyň dürli künjeklerini
At present, there are various underground lakes in different parts of the country. One of them is Lake Kovata. There is such mineral water in the karst cave formed in the Kovata Archman. Nowadays, those waters which are widely used in the treatment resort leak from the cracks in the mountains when it snows and accumulates in the shot. There are many such karst caves in Kopetdag as well. There are also a number of lakes with a number of wells and the formation of those Turkmen canals. The water of lakes that formed in the karst caves of the lakes in the mountain caves also served. As a result of scientific research, so far the excavations around Archman have been carried out by drawing water collected in a subterranean cave. Exactly the same ditches were dug around the hot water. The water that flows through the sewage system has further increased its mineral wealth by absorbing it here. Even after a certain distance, its water came to the people as a very suitable and healing water for drinking. Today, some of the sewers around the hot water have jobs. That's why our people are taking advantage of it. This is due to the widespread of this water by our people, the widespread use of water, and the widespread adoption of the national practices. As a result of our research, very scientifically rich information about the sewages around Kopetdag itself has revealed important information not only for the history of the glory of our country of people, but also for the history of the whole world. The works written by our team present in the study of the ethnographic resources gives us ample opportunities. The works written by the team present in the study of the rich ethnographic resources. There is also valuable information in the book Turkmenistan, Heart of the Great Silk Road, where the widespread of use of canals in ancient Abiver, that is, the existence of a system of canals and Abiver. That is what our esteemed president writes in this regard in his writings. Oriental geographers mention the fertile land of the Abiver region in the city market and the mosque.
Dünýäniň taryhy üçin ören ähmiýetli maglumatlar ýüze çykaryldy. Bay etnografiýa baýlyklary öwrenmekde Gahrman Arkadamyň ýazan eserleri bile giňde mümkinçilik berýär. Gahrman Arkadamy Türkmenistan Beýik İpek ýolunyň ýüregi atly eserinde gadymy Abywertde Kyarizleriň giňden ulanlanlygyny, ýani Abywer şäheriniň töwereginden Kyarizleriň bir ulgamynyň bolanlygy bardy. Gymmatly maglumatlar we Gahrman Arkadamy bu wagtda şeýle ýazýar. Gündogor geografiýaçylary öz ýazgylaryny
They wrote in Abiver that the water coming from the river and sewers was clean and did not cure the soul. As a result of the research carried out around the Kopetdag monument, the features of the water of its sewers and its wells have been extensively studied. Here is a picture of wells and ancient Kyariz that operate around the Kopetdag. Apparently, from the heights of the mountains, the Kyarizans were able to draw this water. That is to say, they learned that a lake had been formed under a certain place in Scotland and that there was plenty of water in the lake, and they were able to dig that well and bring it to the surface.
Şu suw çekmegi başarypdyrlar. Ýani şu taýda bir ýeriň aslynda köülüň emile gelenligini, şol köülüň içinde bol suwuň barlygyny bilip, goýularyny gadyp ýeriň ýüzüne çykarmany başarypdyrlar.
Wells of water have been dug out of the ground. The dimensions of these wells also vary. The wells are called Thorny Whales and Thorny Whales, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. There are hundreds of them. This is because of the longer the water that well. The more well it increases, the distance between the wells has been 20 and 30 meters and some 50 meters in some places. These wells have a special hydrotechnical feature. The depth of some of them is up to 80 meters. At the depth of up to 80 meters, the main thing that these wells, the wells that allocation of the lake get deeper. From those wells, the diggers were able to dig a well over that lake and draw well next to it, that is water pass. It was also measured by separate calculation and allow the water reach the surface under it. As it turns out, the height of the wells of the sewer, that is the slowly flowing down, and finally it rises to the surface. The place where the water comes out of the sewer is called Jalava. Jalava, the place where that water is available the most human beings. This is a unique national experience in digging these wells, and because it's very complicated task. In this picture we look at the picture of a sewer well, a picture of a well of thorns. The vertical wells are called vertical wells because they are dug up to 18 meters deeper, as we have just mentioned it, because that the gazelle is being done and its name is vertical digging. The surroundings that requires a lot of information and experience and a lot of hard work. And in 1904, the sewage system was studied in our country and started. According to the scientific data available to date, there were 385 Kyariz system in the foothills of the Kopetdag between the present-day Serdar and Kaka traps. In 1904, a well-known ethnographer Kyariz studied the Turkmen lands in the Turkmen land, namely the practice of water use and efficient use of water in the Turkmen water experiments. Then mentions hundreds of such Kyariz. Scientists have recently studied the Kyariz system, and the water from Kyariz system is widely used today. The Kyariz of Durun, Thunche, Murche, Dogala, Aktepe village of Behardin Etrab are still in use today. Ancient specimens of those canals have been used around the Paraddepe monument, as we have just mentioned it. Here are two Kyariz systems around the ancient Paraddepe monument. If you look at it, it was used. One of such called Hojadere Kyariz. In other words, it's called Kordere Kyariz. Here are some of them I found to be interesting. And wells we dug the 14-meter intervals, some 30-meter intervals, some 20-meter intervals. Kordere Kari also has a unique structure. The first well is called a Gorlok well.
Yüzlerçiliğini bellek geçiyor. Sonku dövrde alimler Kyariz ulumunu öğrenip durlar. Kyariz ulumunu suyu häzirki dövrde giyinden ulanılıyor. Behardin etrafının Durun ovasynyň, Sünçe ovasynyň, Mürçe ovasynyň, Döwala ovasynyň, Aktepe ovasynyň Kyarizleri şunku neçeli ulanıp belliyor. Ne şu Kyarizlerin gadymy nuskalary ýaňam belleşimi diýaly Pardepe ýadygarlygyň töwereginde ulanılypdyr. Ine şu taýda seýleýän bolsaňyz gadymy Pardepe ýadygarlygynyň töwereginde iki tane Kyariz ulgamy çekilipdir, şoň suw peýdalanypdyr. Olaň bir Hojadere Kyariz diýip atlandyrylýar. Ya da gözbeş Kyariz diýilýär. Beýleksine bolsa Kördere Kyariz diýilýär.
The reason why it is called the Gorlok well was those the ancient teachers used to say that first excavated well was a Gorlovok well because of the sound of a roaring noise from the accumulated lake of this water.
Olaryň käwiriniň arasy 14 metr, käwiriniň arasy 30 metr, käwiriniň 20 metr. Şol ortalıklarda bir Kyariziniň ütkeşik bir guruluşy bar. Şunun ilkinji guýusyna Gorlovok guýy diýilýär. Gorlovok guýy diýilmeginiň sebäbi şol gadymy Kyarizler şu suwun jemlenen kölünden gorully sesin eşitilen sebäpli şu ilkinji gadylan guýa Gorlovok guýy diýýän ekenler. Ne şu Gorlovok guýy?
Here is a look at some of the most famous places in the world. Since then, the Kyariz water has been brought to ancient Paraddepe with a such 25 meter by 20 by 50 meter distance between each Kyariz.
Şutaydına yine de bir ilmi maglumatı
Here we want to draw your attention to another piece of scientific information, that is a diagram of the various water systems drawn from central Kopetdag. Rivers were also the basis of the formation of the Kyariz system, because in the areas where those rivers flowed and water seeped into the bottom of the earth came together and also allowed the Kyariz to be drawn. Kyarians have their own traditions, they have had their own dictionary. It is important to pass on information to the youth about the Kyariz system. We need to enrich the scientific understanding and knowledge of Kyariz, because the Kyariz dictionary itself is rich in scientific information. The source of the earth is called the Jalava, or underground water passages are called So, and the Dikana is called the wells of the Kyariz. In general, the Kyarians have a unique vocabulary which gives them wide range of opportunities to further enrich our linguistic resources. It has accumulated the wealth of experience, that is, you see, and the tools and serve as the same purpose. It's called a shirt.
Maglumatları cemlenen, onun ine başlanıç kuyuları, köplenç gözbaş kuyuları deyip adlandırılıyor. Suğun yerin üzerine çıkan yeri Jalava deyip adlandırılıyor. Ya da şol yer astı geçen su geçilgesine Söv deyip adlandırılıyor. Dikana deyip ine şol Kyarizdin kuyularına adlandırılıyor. Umuman Kyarizlerin bir öz boluşlu södlük baylığı var. Şonu öğrenmen ödemine bizim dil baylamı hatam paylaştırmağı ki mümkünçülükler veriyor. Ne biz şu suratlarda Kyarizlerin kadimi iş kurallarını söylüyor. Sebebi Kyarizlerin işinin çalışırımlı olmağı, onların bir ayrıtın bir türlü çalışımlı yağdaylarda.
These Kyarians were warned so that water would not flow behind them, and inside of the sewer was always wet. It was also important to note that during the operation of the Kyariz, protective boards were attached at the top of the Kyariz. It has a special significance in digging, because as you can see, the strings of these are not very long. It was especially important. The Kyariz has the distinctiveness of the spade. It is made of solid iron, its stands are also different from others, and that it should be shorter and easier to work within a person's hand.
Bir näçe ýyllap dowam edipdir. Käbir Kyarizler 10 ýyla çeýle dowam edipdir galynmagy. Şonda goýun geçiğinin dersinden kilen köýnek Kyarizgenleri ören ähmiýetli bolupdyr. Ýene de bir bellemeli adamy Kyarizgen işlänne depesinde goruk tahtalary tutulupdyr. Olum Kyarizgenin depesinden onuň bedenine dürli daşlaryň ýa-da gumun gaçmadylygy üçin haýr edipdir. Kyarizgenleriň iň meşhur gurallarynyň biri külüň diýip adlandyrylýar. Şu iş guraly esasan daş gumlary gazmakda aýratyn ähmiýet bolupdyr. Çünki görýän bolsaňyz şolaryň saplarym gaty bir uzun däldir. Sebebi
one of the devices is called the lamp. It is also used in this ancient strange way, because when the Kyariz digged the Kyariz in underground, used it to put the lamp behind himself.
Aýratyn ähmiýetli bolupdyr. Ine bir de Kyarizgenin pilçesi diýip adlandyrylýar. Elbetde Kyarizgenin piliniň görünüşi ýaly öz boluşlugy var. Ol bir demirden ýasalýar. Onuň sapy bir öz boluşly tapawutlanýar beýleklerden. Sebäbi ol gysga bolmaly, hem adamyň eline işlemän amatly bolmaly. Ýene de bir tätin ine gurallarynyň biri Kyarizgenin bir ölçügi. Çak çen almak üçin ýöreýten näşeýle bir ölçü guralym ulanlypdyr. Ine Kyarizgenin ýene de bir iş enjamlarynyň biri ulum Kyarizgenin çyrasy diýilýär. Ödüm şu gady tätin görnüşinde ulanylýan çyra, sebäbi Kyarizgen şu yer astyna Kyariz gadanyna çyrany ýyda goýup badýar.
This is a special kind of oil lamp. They use such oil lamps made of cast iron. And here is a look at some of the most intriguing tools available to help you get started.
Ne bärde Kyarizgenin bedresini çekerýär, gaňyrçaga syrlaýan soňra. Kyarizgenleriň şeýle bir çylşymy iş gurallarynyň biri.
With the help of which they fell to the ground, tied a rope around the oases and ascended with the help of it, and the tools of the workmanship were also widely used in the extraction of sand as well as those tools.
Kyarizlerin sözlüğünde aýratyn bir ähmiýeti bolýar. Kyarizleriň ödüm şu çarkyn kömegi bilen ýeriň astyna düşüpdirler. Beýline ýupdanyp şoň kömegi bilen ýokary çykypdyrlar. Şu iş gurallarynyň hem şeýle gumy çykarmakda da Kyarizlerin çarky giňden ulanlypdyr. Kadimi Sünçe Ovasındaki Kyariz.
In the ancient villa of Thunche, we see the water of the Kyariz at the place where the water comes out of the surface of the water. It is also known as the prairie, where the various birds, deer and other creatures comes to the water irrigated. This is because the fact of that various diseases are treated with tap water. This is why the presence of salts that strengthen human health in it has led to the claim that tap water is sacred, and this also makes us to think about the history. From time immemorial, our land has been the heart of the Great Silk Road. They were camped on the banks of the Kyariz, which is why the water of the Kyariz was the basis of the creation of such a beautiful proverb.
Hayırlı şeyler bir tetin mineral doğulur kiramet derecesinde saymana mümkünçülük veripdir sebebi türlü keserlerim Kyariz'in suwu bilen bejerilipdir. Şol sebäple şoň düdümündäki insan sağlygyny berkitici duudlaryň bolmagy Kyariz suwu keramet diýmegine esas bolupdyr. Ýene-de bir ajaýyp nakyllaryň birinde Kyarizyň suwundan käkiligem ganar, kerwenem ganar diýilýär. Näme ödem bir taryha tarya. Gadymy döwürlerden bäri biziň topragymyz beýik ipek ýolunyň ýüregi bolupdyr. Şu biziň gadymy topragymyz.
Today, the functioning of the Kyariz system and the features of its water are of great interest to tourists because in fact today the water of the canals is widely known in the Turkmen land all over the world, and such ancient structures are available in our land.
Nakylyň döremegine dene esas bolupdyr. Kyariz suw ulgamy bir Türkmen halkynyň bütün dünýä beren ajaýyp bir täsin baý tejribeleriniň biridir. Onu döwrüwa prewişde öwrünmek işler giňden dawarlanýar. Elbetde şunkun Kyariz ulgamynyň işleyişi, onuň bir suwunyň aýratyrlyklary barady. Siýasatçylarda da ulgudyklanma döwrüdýär. Sebäbi hakykatdan şunkun Kyarizleriň suwy bütün dünýäde hut Türkmen topragy.
Thus, definitely these buildings serve as a valuable information in learning the history of humanity. Thanks to the efforts of our esteemed President, the wonders of our nature have been given special attention in recent years.
Tutuş insaniýete hyzmat edip gelýänligi buýsunçydyr. Hut şu deshalar şunkun adamlaryň taryhyny öwrenmekde ören gymmatly maglumatlar bolupdyr ýa. Gahrman arkadamyň tagallaty bilen biziň tebigatymyzyň täsinlikleri soňky ýyllarda aýratyn ähmiýet berilip öwrenilýär. Kyariz suw ulgamynyň şeýle bir gadymy tejribelerim şunkun tutuş adamlar tarapyndan arzulanmagy, mertebelenmäge münasip tejribeleriň biridir. Şeýle gadymy milli mirasymyzy öwrenmäge döredip berýän.
I would like to thank our esteemed President for giving us ample opportunities to study and ancient heritage national values. I wish the esteemed President sound health, longevity and success in all state undertakings for the prosperity of the country.
Hormatly Prezidentimiziň jany sag bolsun, ömrü uzak bolsun, alyp barýan ýyly ýurt bähwetli, tutuş adamlar ähmiýetli işlerinde hemiş rowaçlyk ýar bolsun.